What's going on, Spurs fans? Today we're going to dive into an NBA Twitter mock draft that I was invited to participate in. And there were 30 teams, 60 picks, and 30 accounts ranging from broadcasters and bloggers to scouts and actual NBA reporters. A ton of awesome people went into making this happen. So kick back, watch me put my GM hat on, and let's just get right into it. Here are a couple of the key rules so y'all better understand the process. 1. All trades, including sign-in trades, are allowed before and after the draft with any players in future draft capital as long as they work financially on TradeNBA.com. And 2, you are allowed 5 minutes to make your first round selection and 2 minutes to make your second round picks. In case you were wondering, yes, I tried my best to deal one of Rudy Gay, LaMarcus Aldridge, or DeMar DeRozan before the draft, but most people just laughed off my offers and I can't really blame them. That's pretty much it, so let's look at how the draft went down. Really sure what to expect from the rest of the participants from this mock draft, and I came in with the hopes that Deni Avdija, Onyeka Okongwu, or Devin Vassell might fall, but as you see here, they get taken pretty early, and even my backups like Aleksej Pokusevski and Patrick Williams were selected before I got a chance to pick, but my turn was coming up soon and I had to make a split decision. And with the 11th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select James Wiseman out of Memphis University. Now, I'm not really the biggest Wiseman guy, but at 11, it's hard to pass up on someone who was pretty much the consensus top recruit coming out of high school a year ago if he falls this far. And I know there were some concerns following his exit from Memphis after playing just 3 games and only serving part of his suspension, but I don't really buy into the narrative of him being a bad teammate for ditching the Tigers to prepare for the NBA draft because I'm sure plenty of prospects would have done the same in that situation. Wiseman was dubbed a unicorn coming out of high school for his ability to put the ball on the floor, protect the rim, and shoot the 3-ball, but in the limited sample size we got of him in the NCAA, he was much more conservative and played within the role head coach Penny Hardaway asked of him. I think he'll probably be more of a rim-running shot blocker upon coming into the NBA, though he definitely has some untapped potential to become more than that. And if any team can unlock that ceiling, it would be the San Antonio Spurs and their storied developmental system. Even if he doesn't become an all-star level player, Wiseman is a great value at 11 considering who was still on the board. So the San Antonio Spurs get James Wiseman, and I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through the rest of the picks in the first round, and if you want to check those out, you can look at the link in the description below, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the second round action. I decided to skip the middle 10 picks because I'm editing this in iMovie, which is a total pain and it would take way too much time. So again, if you want to see every pick from this mock draft, click the link in the description below. At 41, I went ahead and took Zeke Nnaji out of the University of Arizona. Nnaji was another one of those guys who generated first-round interest this season, but took a pretty huge tumble on draft night, so I figured he was a relatively safe selection for a Spurs team that lacks front-court depth and another prospect who San Antonio would probably love to bring along in the G League. He's not really an outstanding vertical athlete, and he doesn't have a defined position going to the next level, but he's pretty smooth running the floor and showed great touch around the rim. Now, Nnaji doesn't project as a shot blocker in the NBA, but he's a high-motor rebounder with some shooting potential. And if he can find a way to be a contributor as a bench scorer a year or two down the road, I think it's safe to say that this was a pick well spent by the San Antonio Spurs. Like I said earlier, people were dealing picks left and right, and I had virtually no takers on anyone, like anybody. In fact, I was one of 12 teams not to make a trade before the draft, and literally minutes after making my pick, I got an offer for Rudy Gay in my DMs. Not necessarily the sexy swap Spurs fans might hope for, but it saves the money, gives him another draft asset, and Ariza can serve as a serviceable 3-and-D role player with an expiring contract heading into 2021. So, with the Spurs' final pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, San Antonio selects Lamine Diane out of Cal State Northridge. Averaging nearly 25 points and 11 rebounds per game through his first 2 college seasons, Diane won back-to-back Big West Conference Player of the Year awards while showing off a variety of skills on both ends of the floor. Though the Pascal Siakam comparisons are a bit unfair considering his competition, Lamine possesses high-level athleticism that should still stand out in the NBA. He tends to play out of control, his shot definitely needs work, and he'll turn 23 this November, though at this point in the draft, taking risks are necessary for teams in rebuild mode. I won't bore y'all with the remaining picks so we can get things wrapped up here, but overall I was happy with my final selection at 46, especially in a weaker draft class. My final 2020 NBA draft haul included James Wiseman, Zeke Nnaji, and Lamine Diane, so let me know what you think of my selections, what grade would you give me, and who would you have taken instead? Huge shout out to CJ Marchesani for organizing this awesome NBA Twitter mock draft. Y'all can follow him at Twitter at CJ Marchesani, and make sure to check out his NBA roll call where he has put together a spreadsheet of the best follows across the league. Thanks again for tuning in, and I have an awesome collab with the cast of All-Stars from Spurs Twitter on the way. I think y'all are really going to enjoy, so keep your eyes peeled for new content. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time.